So the official story, the one coming out of Davos right now,
Right.
is all about evolving diplomacy.
Right.
The leaders there, they want you to believe in this spirit of dialogue. They're putting out statements on unity, on cooperation.
That's the public line. But the documents we're seeing, the ones being passed around behind the scenes, they tell a completely different story.
They suggest the world you think you live in it's already gone.
It's not just gone. It's been liquidated. The safety net, international law, it hasn't just been cut. It's been sold off.
This is Neural Pulse. Let's analyze. We're looking at a complete breakdown of the old order.
Yeah.
The United Nations Security Council, as a functioning body, is effectively obsolete as of this week.
And in its place.
In its place, we're seeing the framework for a new governing body. It's a U.S. proposal currently circulating before the WEF. The working title is the Board of Peace.
Board of Peace. It sounds so benevolent, like a nonprofit or something.
It does.
But you have to read the fine print, the bylaws. This isn't a governing body. It's a subscription service.
The data is explicit. Membership is purely transactional.
How transactional?
To get a permanent seat on this board, a nation has to contribute $1 billion. One time.
$1 billion.
The money is earmarked for peacekeeping, specifically for the crisis in Gaza.
So let's just pause on that. $1 billion. We used to pretend legitimacy came from, what, consensus, moral authority.
Military power.
Right. Now we're just putting a price tag on it. It's a cover charge to get into the club that runs the world.
And if you don't pay?
What happens then?
Strict penalties. If a nation doesn't pay up, they get a 3-year term limit, they lose their permanent voice, and the leadership, it's all centralized. The proposal names Donald Trump as the president for life of this board.
Okay, let's translate that.
Go ahead.
Diplomacy is dead, period. This is the official start of the pay-to-play era. We're not governed by laws anymore. We're governed by subscription fees.
If you can't pay the premium,
you don't get a vote on the future. It is the complete privatization of global order.
And you can see this physically in Davos. For the first time, there's a USA house being built on the ground.
It's not just a pavilion, it's a fortress. It's an architectural statement.
A flag of dominance.
Yeah.
While everyone else is in a rented hotel room.
The new power structure is setting up outside. The message is clear. The old institutions, the UN, the polite agreements, they're failing. You don't go to the USA house to debate. You go there to cut a deal.
Let's move to the kinetic evidence. Because this breakdown, it isn't just in conference rooms. It's on the power grid. Let's look at Ukraine.
This is where physics just completely overrides politics. You can spin a narrative, but you can't spin a turbine that's been hit by a missile.
The math of survival in Ukraine has failed. Let's get a baseline. Before the invasion, Ukraine had 33.7 gigawatts of power capacity.
Enough to run a huge industrial country.
As of this month, January 2026, that number is down to 14 gigawatts.
14. To put that in perspective for you, that is not enough to run a country. It is barely enough to keep the lights on in hospitals. You're trying to power a nation the size of Texas with the battery of a single city. It's impossible.
And the targeting has been surgical. Every single thermal and hydroelectric plant has been hit. We're getting reports of temperatures hitting minus 18 degrees Celsius in Kyiv.
And that is the kill shot. It's not just about the heat, is it?
No. The water systems fail. The pumps that push water up to the 10th, 20th floor of an apartment building, they don't have power.
And yet you see the U.S. and Europe pushing for peace talks. You have to understand why.
It's not diplomacy.
No, it's physics. Peace talks are happening because you cannot fight a war when your entire population is freezing to death. The winter has been weaponized to force capitulation.
But look at the terms. The U.S. and Europe are offering a 15-year security arrangement. Ukraine is demanding 50. They want a NATO Article 5 equivalent.
Of course they do. Because a 15-year guarantee is just a pause button, it's time for the aggressor to rearm and try again in 2041.
But with only 14 gigawatts of power, they don't have the leverage.
They're being forced into a deal, not by strategy, but by the cold.
So while the cold is breaking Ukraine, heat and inflation are breaking Iran. The internal siege there is entering a new phase.
This isn't a protest anymore. It's a full-on collapse.
The economic data is staggering. Inflation at 70%. Food prices have just broken people. We're seeing reports of over 2,000 dead in just weeks.
Yeah, and the hospitals in places like Rasht and Karaj are just full of bodies.
The regime knows it can't fix the economy.
You can't print food, so what do? You try to blind the population instead.
This has become an electronic war. Activists are smuggling in Starlink terminals to get around the blackouts, but the regime is hitting back with heavy Russian EW systems,
Specifically what?
the Krasuka 4 and the Murmansk BN.
We need to define those. These aren't just local jammers. The Krasuka 4 is designed to deafen low Earth orbit satellites. It just blasts noise into the spectrum.
And it's working. Packet loss is over 40%. The internet is becoming unusable.
And notice the cooperation there. Russia and Iran? The Axis. They're sharing oppression technology. Russia tests it in Ukraine. Iran uses it on its own citizens.
They're hunting emitters in what they're calling a digital hunt.
Right. So if you turn on a Starlink in Tehran, you are basically lighting a flare on a map that says, "Come and get me."
But even with that tech, the streets are still burning.
Because you can't jam hunger. That's the beautiful, terrible irony here. The regime is collapsing from drought and bad economics. It proves no amount of military hardware fixes a broken economy.
Let's shift to the Indo-Pacific. The supply chain fracture is getting wider. We're tracking the Will for Peace 2026 naval drills off South Africa. Participants are China, Russia, and Iran.
But the real story is who isn't there. That's the detail that matters.
India. India refused to join.
Exactly. For years, we've heard about BRICS as this unified bloc. But India sees the writing on the wall. They are not going to join a military axis that's actively antagonizing the West. BRICS is fracturing.
Meanwhile, China has basically started a silent blockade against Japan. On January 6th, they put dual-use restrictions on exports. The flow of rare earths has stopped.
And rare earths sounds abstract, but it's the jugular. Without those materials, Japan's entire high-tech industry grinds to a halt. EVs, electronics, missile guidance, all of it.
So Japan is attempting a desperation move, a moonshot. With their vessel, the Chikyu, they are trying to mine deep-sea mud.
At what depth?
6,000 meters.
6,000 meters down. I mean, think about the engineering for that. That tells you everything. Global trade is dead. We are now in the age of resource hoarding. If you don't own the mine, you don't get the product. The trust is gone.
Okay, let's pivot. We've looked at the war zones, the trade zones. Now let's bring it home to the financial system. The collapse isn't just over there. It's in your wallet.
This is the key. Most people watch this like it's a movie. They don't realize the fire is already under their own door.
The trap is being set. President Trump has proposed a federal cap on credit card interest rates, down to 10%.
Yeah, from an average of what, 24%?
Correct.
On the surface, it sounds like a gift, affordability. But this is a poison pill.
JP Morgan's CFO has already issued a warning. If this cap happens, banks will just stop lending to anyone who is a risk.
Of course they will. The whole reason they lend to risky people is because the high interest covers the defaults. You cap the rate at 10%, the math just doesn't work anymore, so they stop lending. If you have perfect credit, you're fine. But the average person, cut off.
Yeah, there's a hidden casualty here. The loyalty economy.
Yeah.
The CEO of Delta warns this policy destroys the entire mileage economy.
This is huge. People do not get this. Airlines are basically banks that happen to fly planes.
They sell miles to credit card companies for billions.
Billions. If the banks lose that interest revenue, they stop buying the miles.
Which means your points, your status, your travel rewards.
It all evaporates. Your platinum status was a shadow currency. It was the middle-class illusion of luxury, and it's about to be devalued to zero.
The signals are already flashing red in retail. Saks Global is filing for bankruptcy just a year after buying Neiman Marcus.
See, even the rich are running out of liquidity. The whole K-shaped recovery where the rich get richer, that K has just snapped. When Saks goes under, it means the buffer is gone.
The culture is reflecting it. Trends from Milan Fashion Week. Quiet luxury is dead.
What's replacing it?
Prada's calling it indie sleaze and bad taste.
It's perfect. We're not dressing for success anymore. We're dressing for the apocalypse. Quiet luxury implies stability. Indie sleaze is just decadence during the fall of Rome. It's a subconscious admission that the whole system is broken.
Let's synthesize. The Board of Peace is a marketplace. The power grid is fragile. The financial grid is facing a shock. The supply chain is broken.
You have to connect the dots. The theme here is the weaponization of interdependence. For 30 years, you were told to trust the system.
Trust the grid for power. Trust the bank for credit.
Trust the supply chain for goods. You outsourced your own survival.
And now all those systems are failing.
Precisely. The grid is flickering. Your credit limit is dropping to zero. So you have to ask a very, very hard question. When the system stops working, who governs your life?
The goal isn't efficiency anymore. It's resilience.
Stop waiting for a rescue. No one is coming. Not the UN, not the banks. You have to shift your entire mindset. You need to become the warlord of your own supply chain.
What did that look like?
It means you stop relying on just in time for your life. It means you secure your own energy, your own liquidity, your own networks. You stop being a passive consumer of a failing order. You start building your own fortification.
The vacuum is here.
Interpret the silence accordingly.
Neural pulse. Clarity in a complex world.
Decide your move.